बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की। Radhe Radhe, everyone. Yesterday we left off with Hanumanji and all of the Banar Sena searching for Sita, serving Bhagwan Ram happily with their heart and soul and body. But they had a problem because they'd received instructions from Sugriv that everyone must return within 1 month, even whether you found Sita or not. And if you haven't returned within 1 month, you'll be put to death when you do come back, unless you come back with news of Sita. So it's past 1 month and they haven't found Sita, so there's no way they're going back. They'll keep looking now until they find her, or they'll die trying. During their search, Hanumanji spotted a cave down below. So they went and they looked at the cave and they saw there are birds flying into the cave. Isko band kiya. 1 and 2 feedback. So Hanumanji sees there are birds flying into the cave, which is very odd because normally birds wouldn't do such a thing. So he investigated and he entered. Everybody else entered after him. Nal, Neel, Angad, Jamvan, everybody followed him. And they saw that here inside the cave is a beautiful world. There's a beautiful pond covered in lotuses. There are fruit trees and berries and birds and a beautiful forest and flowers. And there sitting right in front is a beautiful maiden sitting in meditation, and she appears to be austerity personified. So when they entered, she greeted them and she said, "Oh, my sons, please come and help yourself. Refresh yourself by having a bath in this beautiful lake and eat fruits and berries." So they did as they were told. They went and refreshed themselves and filled their bellies. And when they came out, then she asked them, "So tell me about yourselves." And they related the whole story about Ram and what their mission was. So she said, "Okay, I'm going to help you out. Close your eyes." So they all closed their eyes. And when they reopened them, they were at Rameshwaram, at the very southern tip of India, sitting on the sand on a beach. And when they opened their eyes, they saw where they were, but they also saw one more problem now. Jatayu's older brother Sampati, who's a very powerful bird. He's a relative of Garurji. So you can imagine Garurji is Bhagwan's divine carrier, and Sampati is his relative. He's also extremely powerful, and he hasn't eaten in a long time. He's sitting up on the cliff above the beach, and he's thinking to himself, oh, my Lord is feeling very favorable towards me this morning because he's awarded me a whole meal here right at the start of the day. I don't even have to go looking for anything. He's saying it out loud to himself. All the Hanumanji and everybody is hearing him, and they think, oh boy, we're in trouble now. So Angad had a good idea. He said, oh, my dear Sampati, we are here on behalf of Lord Ram, and he is the one who has performed the last rites of your younger brother Jatayu. So hearing that, Sampati ji was both happy and sad. Sad to hear the passing of his brother, but happy to hear that he had met with Bhagwan Ram and had that close association with him. And since Bhagwan Ram had performed his last rites, he felt beholden to Bhagwan Ram. So he says, I'm now at your service. You tell me, what can I do for you? So they told the whole story. He said, you cannot see because your eyes are not that good, but a vulture's eyes can see a long ways. So I can tell you right now that Sita is in Lanka, over here across this ocean, which is 800 miles wide. On the other side is the city of Lanka, where Ravan rules. And over there in that city, there's a beautiful Ashok Van. And in that Ashok Van, Sita ji is being kept. Now he said, in my younger days, I could have just gone over there and brought her back for you, but I'm getting old now, so I won't be able to do it myself. So who amongst you can leap to the other side? Dham once said, I'm also getting too old for that sort of thing. In my younger days, I could have done it without any hesitation. Angad said, I think I could leap over, but I'm not sure I could get back. Everybody's sitting around, kaun jayega, kaun jayega. So then Jamvant reminded Hanumanji that you have the power to do it, but you've forgotten it. So now you have to remember your potential, remember your power. You can easily jump across and come back. And then Hanumanji remembered, oh yes, I had that power, but the rishis had me forget it until this time. As such, I would need it. So now Hanumanji is ready to go. And he says, oh yes, he's telling Jamban that I can jump over there right now, kill all those demons, pick up Mother Sita and come back and kill Ravan too, and we'll be done with the whole thing. But you please instruct me. Jamban said, no, we haven't received any such instructions from Lord Ram. He's only told us to bring back tidings of Mother Sita, bring back news of Mother Sita, and then he'll decide how we should act after that. Hanumanji said, Jo Agya, and he took one big leap and was sailing across the ocean. Now the Devtas decided they wanted to show that how powerful is Hanumanji. So they asked the mother of serpents, Surasa, who was living in the ocean, to please do something to show Hanumanji's power. So she came up out of the ocean and opened her mouth. And Hanumanji paused in midair and did pranam. And he says, oh mother, right now I'm on an important errand for Bhagwan Ram, so I can't stay here, I can't wait. But if you please wait until I go and come back and this errand has been accomplished, then I'll gladly come and enter your mouth. She said, no, I'm going to swallow you right now. Hanumanji said, okay, if that's how it's got to be, let's see. So she opened her mouth 8 miles wide to fit Hanumanji in. Hanumanji made his body 16 miles long. She made her mouth 128 miles big. Hanumanji made his body 256 miles big. Jas jas surasa badan badhava ta sudugun kapirup dikhava. As big as she made her mouth, Hanumanji kept making his body twice as big. Kripaluji Maharaj says this is analogous to how worldly desires grow as we try to satisfy them. We think by fulfilling a worldly desire, we're going to get peace. But what happens is the exact opposite. Just like Surasa grew her mouth as big as Hanumanji was, and she thinks she's about to swallow him, but no. He got bigger, twice as big. Similarly, our desire is this big, so we need this much material. Itna saman, itna padarth. We get that and we think, oh, our desire is going to be fulfilled and we'll receive peace. But no, the desire doubles. So we double our effort. We double the amount of saman. We double the amount of material pleasure we're awarding our mind. And in return, what does our mind do? It again redoubles the desire. So there's no end to it. Girir mahan girer abdhir mahan abdhir nabho mahat nabhasopi param brahma tatopyasha duratyaya. Vedavyasji says, worldly desires are so big that I would say they're bigger than God. How so? He says, well, a mountain is big, right? But the ocean is bigger than a mountain because you can fit the mountain inside the ocean. Bigger than the ocean is the space, the endless space. What's bigger than the space? God himself, because all of this material space, the whole thing, the whole existence dissolves into one pore of his body during Mahapralaya. So God is bigger even than the endless space. But what's bigger than God? Desires. Because a human being can attain God through surrendering to him. He graces you and you attain him. You know him. You experience him. But a worldly desire can never be vanquished. Ever. Impossible. So you can vanquish God, albeit through self-surrender, not through your own strength. But you can vanquish God. You can never vanquish a worldly desire. As big an enjoyment as you provide to satisfy that desire, the desire will only go on growing. So the only way to put an end to all desires is by attaining God, who is the very form of divine happiness. Anyway, once Surasa grew her mouth to 800 miles wide, then instead of growing bigger, Hanumanji made himself very small. And he quickly flew in her mouth and came out. And he said, there you go, I've gone in your mouth. She bowed down to him and says, yes, now you have shown the world your strength and your intelligence, so let you be on your way. Hanumanji continued. He reached Lanka and he was quite amazed by the scene over there. It was very beautiful with gardens and beautiful marketplaces and intersections and people walking around everywhere and all different types of beings and species and demons and humans and nagas and everybody. And the whole city was surrounded by golden walls that were embedded with precious jewels. And all around this fortified wall were great warriors protecting that no one could enter Lanka. Hanumanji had to go in there to look for Sita. So he decided, I'm going to make myself again very small, the size of a gnat. Can't barely even see a gnat. They're so small, you just, if in the right light, you might see something buzzing around, but you're not sure. He made himself that small, and he tried to enter Lanka. Guarding that section of wall named Lankini, a great demoness, and she spied him. And she stopped him. Hey, where do you think you're going without my permission? You think you are entering Lanka? Hanumanji walloped her. And she then folds her hands and says, I was given a hint by Brahmaji when he had awarded the boon to Ravan. At that time, he told me, he said, when this happens to you, that a monkey wallops you and you so hard you lose your senses, know at that time that the end of the demon race is near. So she bowed to Hanumanji and said, I know that you and Lord Ram are going to be successful. Please be on your way. So Hanumanji enters, this small, just buzzing around. He looked everywhere. He went in all the buildings of Lanka looking for Sita. He even went in Ravan's bedroom. Ravan was fast asleep. Has no idea that Hanumanji's buzzing around. Didn't find Sita anywhere. But then across from Ravan's house, he saw a beautiful mansion that was built like a temple. And he noticed also that on the outside of that were emblazoned the bow and arrow, Ram's weapons. And in front of it, there were many tulsi plants growing. So he felt like this is some kind of mandir to Lord Ram. But then he's thinking, how is it possible in the middle of all of this city of demons, could there really be a devotee of Lord Ram? So he went a little closer. He went out, went near the window, and he saw Vibhishan sleeping, Ravan's younger brother. Vibhishan happened to awaken there in the middle of the night. And having awakened, he sat up and he started repeating Ram's names. Ram, 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 Ram. Hanumanji couldn't believe what he was seeing and hearing. So he took the form of a Brahman and he came and called on Vibhishan. He may have knocked at the door or whatever he did. He alerted Vibhishan that someone wanted to visit with him. And Vibhishan came, and the moment he saw Hanumanji in that form, he was immediately attracted to him. And he said, you wouldn't by chance be one of God's divine servants like Naradji or something like that? Or could it be that you are Lord Ram himself? You see, when someone meets a divine personality, it's possible to feel an immediate attraction. I had explained earlier to you that when someone meets God during his avatar, depending upon the state of their heart, they'll have a different reaction. Our heart is some balance of sattva, raj, tam. If somebody has a more predominantly tamas state of their heart and mind, in that case, they'll see Bhagwan Ram or they'll see any avatar of God or any saint, because saints are one with God. There's no difference between God and his true God-realized saints. So if we were to see God or any saint for that matter, and our heart was more tamas, we would feel revolted. Like, oh, this person really bothers me. Get them away from me. Obviously, we wouldn't recognize God as God or a saint as a saint. A Rajas person would feel more like, oh, yes, he's just like me. And a Sattvic person with a more devotional heart would feel attracted to the saint or to God, but might not know why. They might not recognize or understand the divinity of the saint or of God, but they would feel some attraction. So sometimes people wonder, how will I recognize a saint? You can't recognize a saint by their outer appearance or their behavior. But initially, if someone's heart is pure enough and their desire for God is strong enough, there could be some internal recognition. Just like Vibhishan somehow felt Hanumanji, even though he's just in the form of a man, he's thinking he's someone divine. So he's asking, are you a saint? Are you God himself? This is what happens to souls when they meet a saint. When we meet a saint, let's say the saint is like a magnet. That magnet has the power to attract pure iron, right? Let's say you take a bunch of needles and spread them around the magnet, equidistant from the magnet in a circle. You put the magnet in the middle. And let's say those needles are a variety of needles. Some of them are 100% ferrum. Some are 75%. Some are 50%. Some are 25%. Some are only 5%, and all the rest are different alloys, milavat. What's going to happen is those needles, those suya that are pure iron, and the magnet is here, they're going to very quickly spin towards the magnet. That's like a pure-hearted, devotional person when they meet a saint. They don't know what happened, but they feel that attraction, like the sui to the chumbak. If the heart is less pure, the attraction will be weaker. So like, let's say a needle which is 50-50, 50% iron, 50% something else. It will turn, but more slowly. The attraction is less. If the level of purity is very low, that needle may not turn at all. It just stays exactly where it is. And in some cases, it may be repelled. That's also possible. So depending on one's purity of heart, we may be attracted to a true saint, we may be repelled by the true saint. So a saint can be recognized according to the quality of one's heart. Just like how a calf can recognize his mother. You may have a whole barn full of cows. Send that calf into that barn, the calf will go straight to his mother. To our eye, every one of those cows looks exactly the same. The calf has some kind of connection with his mother. Similarly, a soul may feel that kind of connection initially with a true saint upon meeting, if we're very lucky, if our desire is pure, our desire for God is pure. So Vibhishan is feeling very glad to meet Hanumanji, even though he doesn't know who he is. So Hanumanji explains Ram's whole Leela up until now. He narrates the whole thing. Vibhishan is listening. And then Hanumanji explains, and by the way, I'm Hanuman. And he retakes his form as Hanuman. So Hanumanji also asks Vibhishan that how is it that you are living here in this city of demons and yet you are a devotee of Ram? Vibhishan says it's like the tongue living amongst the teeth. Those teeth can gnash down on the tongue at any time, but that soft tongue is living surrounded by those harsh teeth. Similarly, I'm living here in the middle of all of these demons in this city of Lanka, but my heart is always dedicated to Ram. Vibhishan says, but now I know that Ram's grace is upon me. Ab mohi bha bharosa Hanumanta Binu hari kripa milahi nahi santa. Because without the grace of Sri Ram, it's impossible to meet a true saint. Some people wonder, not only how will I recognize a saint, but how will I meet a saint? When can I meet a saint? So it's been advised by both saints and scriptures that do not go out in search of a saint. You cannot find a saint on your own. You cannot recognize a saint on your own. You need God's grace, both to meet the saint and to recognize the saint. So pray to God, pray to Ram, pray sincerely and beg of him, please, I need the help of one of your saints to help me reach you. I cannot reach you without a guru, without the guidance of a true saint. No one can reach you. Guru binu bhava varidhi kahu bero. No one can cross this ocean of Maya, even if they are as great as Lord Shankar or Brahmaji. Yet they cannot cross this ocean of Maya without your grace, without the help of a God-realized saint. So it's only with the help of a saint that we can reach God. It's only with the grace of a saint that we can reach God, but it's only with God's grace that we get the association of a saint. Therefore, Hanumanji, now that I've met you, I know that Ram's grace is upon me, and now I know it won't be long until I get the chance to meet him. So, Vibhishanji tells Hanumanji exactly where Sita is in the Ashokvan, how to get there, and how he can go. So Hanumanji again makes himself as small as a gnat, and he flies over towards Ashokvan. When he reaches the Ashokvan, he alights in the tree above Sitaji's head. And he got there just in time to witness Ravan coming with all of his attendants and queens, and he's coming to accost Sita. Sita is sitting, Hanumanji observed that she's sitting just looking at her feet, not looking anywhere else, looking at her own feet and thinking only of Sri Ram's feet. And she's just repeating all of Ram's gunas in her mind, over and over again, dwelling upon his great personality. Ravan comes and he says, "Oh Devi, if you look, just gaze upon me one time. I'm not asking anything else, just gaze upon me once. And Mandodari and all of these queens will become your maidservants. Please look towards me." Sita picks up a blade of grass, because normally she would not speak directly to Ravan. She would speak through someone else. Being as Sri Ram is her Lord, she would never speak directly to Ravan. But in these circumstances, she had no other choice. So she picked up a blade of grass as a barrier between she and Ravan. And she says, "Oh Dusht, Shat." She had some choice words for Ravan. Ravan must have been feeling in his heart, because he had great devotion to Sita, but he was playing this part of the villain. One can only imagine how sweet, how much ras Ravan was taking from these words of Sita. Can you imagine Sita giving gali? That's what she's doing. I don't have these chaupai memorized, but I want to share them with you. So let me read a little section. You can see what Sita ji says to him. "असमन समुझो कहती जानकी, कब की Nalini karai vikasa sunudas mukha khadyot prakasa. She says, you listen here, 10-headed monster. Has a lotus ever bloomed because of the light of a firefly? In other words, she's calling him a firefly and she's a lotus. Ram is the sun. Has a lotus ever bloomed in the light of a firefly? You fool. Asamana samuju kahati janaki khal sudhi nahi raghubir banaki. You wretch. Have you no idea the power of Ram's arrows? Have you not thought of that? Sat. Shat means you utter lowlife. Sune hari anehi mohi adham nilaj laj nahi tohi. Are you shameless? You took me when no one else was around. Have you no fear of Lord Ram? So she's really letting him have it. But Ravan in his heart is just drinking this in. He's doing seva by playing the villain. To hear Mother Sita's harsh words was like nectar to Ravan. And we can also, even though we don't normally think of Sita Mata in this way, this is Durgashtami, right? Sita Mata's Ansh is Durga, who killed all of those demons. So imagine Sita Ji, does she need to be sitting meekly in Ashokvan? She could have dispatched with Ravan in 1 second. She could have killed all the demons in Lanka. She could have just called her Ansh, Durga, hey, take care of this. Kalima, take care of this. That's 1 fraction of Sita Ji's power. But in this Leela, just as Ram is playing the part of a man, Sita Ji is playing the part of an ordinary woman. So Sita Ji is not going to defend herself or kill any demon. She's waiting for Lord Ram to come to her rescue, and she's allowing Hanumanji and the other monkeys to do the seva of finding her and saving her. So in this way, she's showing a little bit of fire by insulting Ravan in this way. So Ravan says, oh, you have insulted me. He says, you see this sword? This sword is going to cut your head off. Sita Ji says, my Lord's arm, my Lord Ram, his arm is like a string of blue lotuses. It is so bluish and beautiful to look at, and it is as long as an elephant's trunk. This neck will either be given to his arm or to your sword. In other words, you can, I'm happy to give my neck to your sword, but you will never lay a hand on me. And after she said that, Ravan was reaching for her sword. But Mandodari, the prime queen, she explained to him, no, that would be a big mistake. So Ravan agreed, but he said, if you have not agreed to what I have told you within 1 month, then you will die. And he left. But he left telling the other demonesses who are guarding her there in the Ashok Van that torment her. Don't let her rest. Don't give her any peace. Keep tormenting her until she agrees to my proposal. And Ravan left. So when he left, all the demonesses started frightening Sita and tormenting her. But one of them was named Trijata. Trijata told all of her friends, all the other demonesses, wait, stop. Listen to the dream I had. I had a dream that Ram came here to Lanka. And when Ram came, that Ravan got killed, because in my dream I saw Ravan without his heads and without his arms, riding a donkey towards the south. The south is the direction of death. And I saw the kingship pass into Vibhishan's hands. And I saw everybody in the streets of Lanka beating the drums and chanting Ram's name. So she says, this is going to come to pass. I also saw that Ram called for Sita and she was sent to him. So all my friends, knowing that this is going to come to pass, torment her no longer, serve her. So from then on, Trijata and all of the other Rakshasis there in the garden, they waited upon Sita, hand and foot. They served her to the best of their ability. All this time, Hanumanji is sitting up in the tree, he is that big, watching and listening to all of this. The next thing he hears is that Sita is asking Trijata that, let's put an end to this. If Ravan will not cut off my head with his sword, then let's find some other way. Build a fire and let me enter the fire. And she's praying to the tree above her, the Ashok tree above her, that will you not, your leaves, your new leaves are red like fire. Will you not give me some of that fire that I may burn myself in it? Hearing these words, there's lots of room if everybody moves up a bit. Everybody move up, please, towards the front. So hearing these words, what does Hanumanji do? Remember the ring that Ram had given him? That ring is engraved with Ram. And it's a beautiful golden ring and it's unique. Only Ram wears that. So Hanumanji had brought this with him because Ram had said, you have to show this to Sita ji, only then she'll know that you're my servant. So when she was praying to the Ashok tree in that way, Hanumanji let the ring drop. And Sita, seeing this glowing thing which is dropped from the tree, thinks that the tree has answered her prayer. And when she picks it up, she recognizes the ring. It's one of a kind. She was, in the first moment, ecstatic. This is Ram's ring? Then in the next second, she had a worry that, has someone conquered him and taken his ring? How is it that his ring came to be here? So then, very softly from above, Hanumanji started reciting all of Ram's Leelas, right from the beginning, all the way through till this point. So Sita became calm and just listened. And then she said, how is it that you who are reciting Ram's Leelas that are like nectar to my ears and are soothing to my soul, how is it that you do not present yourself before me? Who are you? So Hanumanji came before her in a little bit bigger form, now the size of an ordinary monkey, you can say. And he bowed before her and said, Mother, I am a servant of Lord Ram. So she said, how is it that a man and a monkey have become friends? So Hanumanji related the meeting with Bhagwan Ram and then the whole arrangement with Sugriv and how all the monkeys are out looking for you, Mother. And Lord Ram gave me this ring to present to you so that you would know that I'm his servant. So then Sita ji was very happy and recognized Hanumanji as a servant of Lord Ram. So she asked, tell me, how is the Lord of Raghus and how is his younger brother? And why is it that his heart has become so hard and he has forgotten me here in Lanka? When will he come to me? When will I see him? So Hanumanji said, Ram and Lakshman are doing very well, other than except for the fact that Ram is suffering terribly in separation from you. Mother, do not worry. However much love you have for him, he has twice as much love for you. And he has sent me with a note. He actually had a note, and he read that note, which was a letter from Bhagwan Ram. And in that, Ram is describing how the whole world has become opposite for him since we have been apart. The breeze blows, and it used to be a comforting breeze carrying the fragrance of flowers, and now it's like the breath of a serpent without you. In this way, the whole world has become opposed to me. He's describing his suffering in Viraha. And he says, my dear, no one knows of the prem between us. Who would I tell my troubles to? No one can understand our relationship except for you. So in this way, Hanumanji read this note that Bhagwan Ram had sent. And he said, Mother, fear not. Ram would have come had he known where you are. And Mother, I could bring you back to him right now, but he has not given me such instructions. He only told me to return with news of your whereabouts. But fear not, because his arrows are like a flame, and all of these demons are like moths who are going to perish in his flame. Ram had told Hanuman, you remind her of my strength so that she feels comforted, and tell her how much I'm missing her. So Hanumanji did now what he was instructed, as Ram had instructed him. And he says, Mother, seeing all these fruits and these trees now, I'm feeling terribly hungry. Would it be okay if I help myself to some of these fruits? So Sita said, you know, these demons who guard this Ashok Van, they're terrible demons, huge, powerful warriors. How will you defend yourself against them? So Hanumanji showed Mother Sita his real form. He grew to the size of a mountain and did pranam to Sita Mata. Sita Mata said, now I have no doubt. Help yourself, my son. So Hanumanji started eating all the fruits, gobbling them down. And when he was done that, he had a little bit more fun by cracking the trees and smashing them and uprooting them. In other words, he wanted to attract some attention, and the guards came and he flung them this way and that way and dashed them into the ground. And it started to create a big commotion. Word got back to Ravana because some of those guards escaped with their life and got back and told him what was happening. So Ravana sent his son Aksh with a whole army of demons. So it took Hanumanji a matter of moments to dispatch with all of them, and Ravana's son had now been killed along with all of these demons. Then Ravana sent Meghnad, his older son. Meghnad approached. Hanumanji uprooted a tree and he smashed all the warriors and as well as Meghnad's chariot, and Meghnad was now helpless in front of him. He gave him one punch, knocked him out, and Hanumanji went up in the tree. Meghnad regained consciousness some time after, and he fixed a Brahmastra to his arrow. Hanumanji has no fear even from that ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra. But he said to himself, if I do not allow the Brahmastra to hit me, then it will lose its acclaim in this world. And I cannot do that. This is Brahma's weapon. So he allowed the Brahmastra to strike him and he fell down. And then Meghnad used his serpent arrow and he tied him up and brought him back to Ravana. So Hanumanji, as his playful self, is allowing himself to be tied up and brought right to Ravana. So now Ravana says, this is who's been wreaking havoc. He's killed so many warriors. This monkey? Who are you, monkey? So Hanumanji said, I'm just a lowly servant of Lord Ram. I am nobody. I'm nothing. So imagine if I could do all of this, how are you going to fare against my master? Why don't you just give up all of this nonsense and go and surrender to him? He's very kind-hearted. He'll forget everything. It doesn't even matter that you kidnapped Sitaji. If you go to him right now and surrender to him, he'll forget everything and he'll accept you as his own. Ravana says, how dare you speak to me in such a way? Put this monkey to death right now. Just then Vibhishan came in. And Vibhishan said, my brother, it's not a wise thing to do from the point of view of statecraft. You normally don't put to death the envoy, even of your enemy. You may maim him, you may beat him up, but you always send him back. So Ravana said, that sounds like a good idea. A monkey is very fond of his tail. Set his tail on fire and then let him go back to Ram. Hanumanji is thinking to himself that this is exactly what I've been waiting for. So they brought all the rags, all the ghee, all the oil in the whole city. It was big enough to begin with, but when this idea started being implemented, his tail started getting longer and longer and longer and longer. So they took all these rags and all the ghee and tail in the whole city and soaked his tail in, soaked all these rags and tied it all around his tail. He made the final big mistake, lit his tail on fire. That was the moment Hanumanji was waiting for. As soon as his tail was on fire, he's the son of the wind god after all. What happened? All 49 Marut are 49 different winds. And normally they only blow all together at the time of Pralay. But today they all came and blew. Why? So that the fire from Hanumanji's tail could spread. So he sprang from building to building, and on each building that he touched, the fire began. In this way, he burned Lanka to the ground and killed many of the demons, most of the demons over there. Only one building was left standing, Vibhishan's house. So in that way, he had done what he came to do. He jumped into the ocean to extinguish the fire on his tail and have, relax a little bit. Then he went one more time back to Sita Mata and asked to take leave from her and requested that, can you give me anything so that I can show to Shri Ram that he would know for sure that I have found you? So she took off her Churamani, the jewel that she wears here on her head. She took that off and gave it to him. And Hanumanji received her blessings and he said, this is all I need now. I am whole and complete. And he left. He just easily jumped right back across that 800-mile gulf of ocean and reached back to Rameshwaram. So there in Rameshwaram, everybody was happy to see him, all the army of monkeys. And they quickly made their way back to Kishkindha to bring the news to Sugriv and Shri Ram. When they reached Kishkindha in the city of Sugriv, the monkeys were feeling a little hungry. So they asked Angad, can we go in the garden and eat? Angad said, sure, sounds good. So before they did anything, they went in the garden and started eating everything, smashing all the trees. They're monkeys. What else are they going to do? So report came back to Sugriv that this was the crown prince Angad and the whole Hanumanji and everybody, they're trashing the garden. he said, oh, this is good news. They would never have done that if they hadn't have brought back good tidings of Sita. So they came and they told Sugriv, and Sugriv said, quickly, let's go to where Ram and Lakshman are. So they came, and Ram and Lakshman were seated on a big crystal rock out in the jungle. They weren't in the city. And Ram met with each one of those monkeys, embraced each one of them, and asked, how are you doing? Is everything okay? For each one of them, before he found Sita, he properly met every one of them. And then Sugriv said, Hanumanji has some news. So then he showed the Chudamani of Sitaji and said that I found her safe and sound in the Ashok Van, but Ravan is really troubling her. But nonetheless, she never looks at him. She looks only at her own feet and thinks only of your feet. She has them enshrined in her heart, and they're like doors on her heart. Nothing else can get in. But my lord, we have to go to her quickly. Ravan has threatened to kill her by the end of this month. So Ram said, let us not waste any more time. Sugriv, call your commanders and give them instructions. We're going to march to Rameshwaram. And they did. He gave them instructions. There were tens of millions of monkeys. More than that. It is said that the commanders of the monkeys themselves numbered more than 18 trillion. Just the commanders, never mind the army itself. 18 trillion commanders. Where did they all fit? We don't have to apply our buddhi in that. Just like Shri Krishna performed Maharas, and when he did Maharas, there were not 18 trillion gopis, there were unlimited number of gopis. And Shri Krishna took unlimited forms, and the whole thing happened in Vrindavan. So it means the space of Vrindavan was divine to accommodate an unlimited number of gopis. So 18 trillion is no problem where God is concerned. And he marched down to Rameshwaram with all of these monkeys and bears. Jamvant had his whole army as well. And when they reached Rameshwaram, now they had the problem of crossing over. Now, while they were considering what to do, there in Lanka, Vibhishan was trying to give some sage counsel to his older brother Ravana. And just as Hanumanji had tried to tell him that it's not too late, you can still take refuge at the feet of Lord Ram, Vibhishan was trying to tell his brother, save yourself, save your city, save your race, because if you don't go and submit yourself to Shri Ram, this is all going to be finished. But instead of seeing that his brother was actually speaking in his best interest, see, before that, just before that, he had asked his ministers, please give me some intelligent guide, give me some guidance. All of those ministers were afraid of him. And none of them gave him proper guidance. They all said, oh, you're so powerful, what do you have to worry about? You have nothing to fear from a couple of hermits, Ram and Lakshman. So Tulsidas Ji says, when a minister, a doctor, or your guru just start telling you whatever you want to hear, you're in big trouble. The minister just telling the king what he wants to hear out of fear and not giving him real intelligent guidance, the kingdom is soon finished. If your doctor starts telling you what you want to hear instead of telling you the truth, then your body will soon be finished. And if your guru starts telling you what you want to hear because he knows you're not going to follow his instructions anyway, then your faith is finished. So this was Ravan's state. No one had the courage to tell him the truth. So they just said, oh, you have nothing to worry about. That's what he wanted to hear. I'm so powerful. No one can stand before me. So that's what they told him, except for his younger brother. His younger brother told him the truth, that you're going to die at Ram's hands. Go now, save yourself. Ravan wouldn't listen. In fact, he kicked his brother. And after kicking him, he threw him out. He said, you go to Ram if you want. I'm not going to Ram. Vibhishan said, Acha mauka mil gaya. Aagya mil gayi. Theek hai, main jata hoon. So Vibhishan very gladly immediately left and crossed the ocean and went to Ram. But even though he was sure that Ram would accept him, Ram was surrounded by all of those warriors, and especially Lakshman. Lakshman is very protective of Lord Ram. So Vibhishan was taking his life in his hands just by approaching. They saw him coming. This is Ravan's brother. Is he coming as a spy, or is he coming with some evil motive in mind? Why is he coming straight towards Ram? So Vibhishan was coming to surrender to Ram. Lakshman is watching. What does he think he's doing? This is Ravan's brother. He must be coming to start the war early. So what ended up happening? How was Vibhishan received? Did he get to surrender to Ram? We'll see all of this tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll conclude Sundarkand and begin Lankakand. Bolo Raghavendra Sarkar ki Jai. For some reason, my voice is getting rougher and rougher today. I don't think I can sing. Would someone be willing to sing some Radha Govinda for 10 minutes? Radha Govinda or Jai Siya Ram, something. Would you mind?
Sunya. I don't know.
Kuch bhi gao. Anything. Ye lo. Just put it here. Let the singers. Wow.